Hello, first grade. Today we are going to talk about another way to revise letters. But quickly, let's just review the four that we have already studied. The first one was saying something and then sharing what it reminds us of. Then we talked about including lists, making sure we have commas properly included, describing where things happen, and then, of course, sharing our plans for the future and asking readers about their plans. Now, today, we are going to talk about including a sentence or two that are designed to persuade readers to do something. That, and another way of saying that is to convince, to try to get them to do what you want them to do. This is something you're very familiar with. And in fact, you're going to learn that there is a whole type of letter called persuasive letters. But today we're just going to include this as a part of your friendly letter to your book buddy. So let's take a look at the day the crayons quit and see how some of the crayons persuaded the boy. So this letter from the green crayon, and let me give you a bit more of a close-up, to Duncan. Now, if you remember correctly, the green crayon was pretty happy. He likes being drawn in the dinosaurs and the crocodiles and the trees, but he tried to help out the yellow and the orange crayon. And he goes on at the bottom of his letter, and he says, both crayons feel they should be the color of the sun. And here's where he tries to persuade Duncan. Please settle this soon, because they're driving the rest of us crazy. Please settle this, the argument, soon. He's trying to convince Duncan to settle the argument. And then he goes on to say why. Because they're driving the rest of us crazy. So he tries to say what he wants Duncan to do, and then he says why he wants Duncan to do it. Let's take a look at another letter, this time from the pink crayon. Now, the pink crayon was very upset with Duncan because she didn't get used very much, and she suspected it was because she thought she was a girl crayon, but she's not, because as you know, I think that's silly. But taking a look here, the pink crayon says, now back to us. Could you please use me sometime to color the occasional pink dinosaur or monster or cowboy? Goodness knows they could use a splash of color. Could you please use me sometime to color the occasional pink dinosaur or monster or cowboy? She wants Duncan to use her because, goodness knows, they could use a splash of color, because they could use some pink in them. She says what she wants him to do and why she wants him to do it. So now I'm going to take a look at a letter that I wrote. This one is to Mrs. Durr. And I'm pretending that she's my book buddy since she's the teacher and I'm the other teacher. I'll read you my whole letter, and then let's see where I could try to convince Mrs. Durr, whose first name is Sarah, and since we're both teachers, I figured I could call her Sarah, where I could try to convince her of something. April 26, 2020. Dear Sarah, I miss seeing you at Book Buddies. I never had a chance to tell you, but I loved your class's play for dessert theater. How are you and your family? Are you still dot journaling? I've been thinking about buying one. Lately, I've been reading a lot on my patio. What have you been doing? Love, Karen. What could I persuade Mrs. Durr of? What could I persuade Sarah about? I know. I want to see more of the children's school teachers, including Mrs. Durr. And so I think I want her help to do some social distance hangouts with the children's school teachers. But where am I going to put this? Where could I put that I want her help organizing a Google Meet with the other teachers? Hmm, I'm out of space. I know, since I want this to be something we do together, I'm going to actually put it right at the end, since what have you been doing kind of makes sense to ask her about doing something together. I've been thinking, and I'm going to use my code here so I can go to the back. I'm going to use a star, and I'm going to make it tiny, but so I can tell it's a star. I've been thinking of setting up a Google Meet so the teachers can hang out. Would you help me plan it? And I need to say why. I need your help because it could be a lot of fun. So now, of course, I'm going to go back and reread at least that last part of my letter to make sure that it makes sense. Let's take a look. Lately, I've been reading a lot on my patio. What have you been doing? I've been thinking of setting up a Google Meet so the teachers can hang out. Would you help me plan it? I need your help because it could be a lot of fun. Love, Karen. Does that make sense? Did I try to persuade Mrs. Durr? Absolutely. So, I made sure that I revised my letter, persuading my reader to do something, and making sure I said why I wanted her to do it. So, your job today, boys and girls, is to make sure you include a sentence or two trying to persuade your reader. Now, what are some things you could persuade your readers about? I don't know. Maybe something you want to do with them, like seeing them in a Zoom or writing back to you. Either of those things would be lovely. I don't know. Those are just some ideas. Maybe you would want to do some art in a Zoom. Who knows? You've got tons of ideas. So, time to get to it. Use a black pen so that I can see your progress and so that you can too. And I will see you soon. All right. Bye bye.